Hey, how's it going? It's Grant with the Garden of Eden, and in this video, I'd like to go through and give you a tour of the entire house. At the end of every year, we'd like to do an updated video to show you what's changed throughout the entire year. We've gone through and added over 50 tanks since our last tour video. A lot of the changes are here in the kitchen, where we've upgraded the rack and added even more tanks than we had before, as well as added an entire rack to Layla's room, and not even including all the empty tanks that we have ready to be set up still. But let's get started on the tour with the rack by the front door. So starting off with an empty tank that will soon be swapped out with one of the tanks on the entertainment center. That rack is going to be upgraded, so whatever tanks can still be used in other racks, I'll swap those over. But this rack is mainly Caridina. The stars of this rack are my Tai bees. This is a mixed tank of red, black, blue, and even purples, just kind of doing their thing in there. The rest of the rack is mainly tigers, mixed tigers, some cheetahs, and some bees, as well as the last tank is some blue dreams. Then the next tank is a 55-gallon Cardinal Silhouette tank. This tank is just temporary for the moment. We set up the other Silhouette tanks, so these guys will be moved in there, as well as the hardscape will be used for the new tanks. And then we have our entertainment center racks. All of these tanks will be moved here shortly. We will be reusing the 55-gallon tanks for the fish. We're going to move them one at a time, scape them, reset them up behind where we have our couch. We are going to be updating this entire rack. The whole wall will be taken down. All the tanks will be swapped out with nothing but 10-gallon tanks. We can get over 80 tanks on this wall. So that is our very next project that we have to get going on. We're going to have to move all of these shrimp and fish off of this rack, so that way we can go through, tear down all of these tanks so we can start building the mega rack. And then that brings us to the bedroom, where Shelby keeps her isopod collection. She's got 18 different varieties, from dairy cows to rubber duckies, and they're all doing quite well. She's also got her leopard geckos, Rex, and peaches. We used to do leopard geckos and other reptiles in the past, and we're just dipping our toes in the water right now. But trust me, it's just the tip of the iceberg right now. We're sure to have a ton of reptiles in the near future. And back to the shrimp, we've got some raccoon tigers, as well as other different types of Caridina in the house. But we also have two nano tanks. One has Shelby's black rose in it on the left. The other one has my green emeralds, as well as Shelby's aquatic isopods that she got for Mother's Day. Those have totally exploded. We plan to add those to our new tanks that we just set up in the kitchen, so that way we can offer those available next year. And as you can see, we fit tanks everywhere we possibly can. We've got the little bookshelf tanks from Aquatop. Some of them are 7.5 gallons. The larger ones, the taller ones, are 12.5 gallons, but they fit perfectly on these Husky 72-inch racks. We're able to fit 6 10-gallon tanks and then fit in one of the extra bookshelf tanks in there to get 7 tanks for each row. And then we've got our homemade blue steels using Aurora tigers and shadow pandas. This was a really fun cross. And that's going to go ahead and do it for the bedroom. Moving on to the living room, where we have our freshly cycled tanks that we set up in our last video. We got Neo Caridina on top of the refrigerator, and the third row will also all be Neo Caridina as well, with the samurai soil. And then we have the Opaula. They have adapted to the tank quite nicely, grazing on the rock. The Silhouette heaters have arrived. Shelby will probably put those in tomorrow. She's going to be busy editing the video when I'm done recording, as well as the Christmas tree. And then all of the tanks on the kitchen counter will be rearranged. We've got 2 of these 36 by 18 terrariums from Zoomed. We're going to put one of them underneath the cabinets. The other one will be where the paludarium currently is. And then in the hallway, not much has changed. We still got the tangerine tigers up top, with the Cardinal Silhouette still in the middle, and then the tank tie down at the bottom. This is just our cluster tank, where we throw in all of our culls basically, but the main base of the tank is tangerine tigers. Those are the orange ones in the tank. We've got some Galaxy Pintos, our red moss tank, as well as some bees, tangerine tigers, and mixed tigers on top. And here is the big difference in the house. We added 36 10-gallon tanks to this room not that long ago, We did a complete video on everything from the tank lids to the closed loop air system and how we cycled these tanks, and I'm quite happy with these. Overall, the tanks have stayed very, very clean, not a lot of algae. I'm not a fan of the big, huge cleb buildup like what we have in the bedroom. All of these tanks are doing really well. The moss is growing incredibly and all algae free. That is the most important part. And we have quite a bit of breeding going on for not that long of being set up. A lot of these shrimp I didn't expect to breed right away just because of transitioning them into new tanks, the stress and everything like that, as well as getting into the winter seasons. Back to the hallway, we do have some red-chested endlers. We're gonna dabble a little bit in some nanofish here and there. Shelby really wants to get back to her roots and breed some betta fish again. We've got the red steels. This colony just cannot die down. Even with all of our Black Friday sales, a lot of the house kind of looks a little bare here and there. However, can't kill the tangerine tigers or the red steels. There's just so many of them. Speaking of tangerine tigers, in Jaden's room, the 55-gallon tangerine tiger tank, these guys are just beasts. I tell everybody, if you want to get into Caridina and you have issues with these guys, you got to figure out your water chemistry. They are the easiest Caridina to keep. Or perhaps you just want to stick with your Neocaridina, like our green emeralds and our green jades. They are just a little bit more hardy, especially when it comes to temperatures and stuff like that. But we do have a lot of Caridina. Almost all of the 10-gallon tanks in this room are Caridina, except for one Opaula tank that we still got going in the top right. But these are our zebra ghost bees. And then we also have some axolotls in this room. We do have a little AC window unit to keep this room nice and cold for them. We've got our original green jade tank that I've kind of adapted this over and started to breed some rillies. Didn't have any out and about to show you on camera, but that is the goal for that tank now. And then our main green jade tank up top. And then we also keep a lot of tiger shrimp in this room in case of a power outage or anything like that. The AC is in this room, so we have the generator ready to be hooked up to keep this room under 74-degree temperature, because with the tiger shrimp, anything above that, they are susceptible to the bacterial infections. So just like these red tigers, we like to keep them as safe as possible. And that's going to be it for the tour. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.